Have you ever really thought about your trash? I mean, not just where it goes when the truck picks it up, but what it actually represents. Today, we're talking all about waste, but we're going to look at it as one of the big, defining challenges, and maybe, just maybe, one of the biggest opportunities of our time. All right, let's get into it.
So, to really wrap our heads around our waste problem, we need a little perspective first. We've got to zoom out, like way, way out, and see where we fit in the huge timeline of our planet.
Okay, check this out. Imagine the Earth's entire 4.6 billion year history squeezed into just one 24-hour day. On this clock, the first life doesn't even show up until after 4 in the morning. The dinosaurs, they crash the party at 10:47 p.m. and they're gone less than an hour later.
And what about us, modern humans? We show up at 4 seconds to midnight. 4 seconds. That means everything we call civilization, our cities, our farms, the internet, and yep, all of our industrial-scale garbage, it's all happened in the blink of a cosmic eye. Our huge impact is a shockingly new thing.
So, in just those few seconds on the planet's clock, what have we managed to do? Well, we've created a mountain of a problem that quite literally we are getting buried in.
Just try to let this number sink in for a second. 2.01 billion tons. That's how much solid waste our cities generate every single year. I mean, that's a number so big it's almost meaningless, right? Think of it this way. It's the weight of millions of the world's largest passenger jets. It's staggering.
And here's the really scary part. It's getting worse fast. According to the World Bank, if we just keep doing what we're doing, that number is on track to jump by 70%. We're looking at 3.4 billion tons a year by 2050. The problem isn't just big, it's speeding up. This chart here really paints the picture. It shows Earth Overshoot Day. Now that's the date each year when humanity has used up all the biological resources that Earth can regenerate in that entire year. And as you can see, that date is creeping earlier and earlier. We're consistently living on borrowed time resource-wise.
And wow, this image from the UN, I mean, it just says it all, doesn't it? You've got the classic march of progress from our earliest ancestors to modern humans, and where does it end? With us being crushed under the weight of our own trash. It's a pretty powerful and honestly a pretty accurate summary of the crisis.
But it doesn't have to end like that. The problem is huge, for sure, but the story is not over. We actually have the tools. We have the strategies to build a much smarter system, one that's designed not just to hide our waste, but to manage it intelligently.
And the key idea is something called integrated waste management. Now, don't let the fancy name throw you. It's not about finding one magic bullet solution. Think of it more like a philosophy or a whole toolbox of different strategies we can use to handle waste in a way that's good for the planet and for the economy.
So, what's actually inside this toolbox? Let's break down the main parts of integrated waste management and see how they all work together. So this toolbox is really a hierarchy, like a ladder. You always want to be as high up on the ladder as possible. Right at the top, the absolute best option is source reduction, just not creating waste to begin with. The next step down is recycling, reusing, and composting. Then you've got waste to energy, and way down at the bottom, the absolute last resort is landfilling.
And this is so important. The single most powerful, most effective strategy in this entire system is that one at the top, source reduction. The smartest, cheapest, and best way to deal with trash is to stop it from ever becoming trash in the first place. It's all about tackling the problem at its root.
So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, it's about designing things smarter, using less plastic in a bottle, making phones that are actually repairable instead of disposable, using less toxic materials in our products, finding smart ways to reuse things like shipping containers. It's a whole shift in how we make and use stuff. And this isn't some abstract theory, you know. It's happening all around us. When you buy a good quality used washing machine instead of a brand new one, that's source reduction. When you choose cleaning products that are non-toxic, you're reducing harmful waste at the source. These are real, tangible examples of that top-tier strategy in action.
So you might be wondering, how big of a deal is this really? How much of a difference can just focusing on that top level of the pyramid actually make? Well, get this. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency estimates that by focusing on source reduction alone, we could cut our total amount of waste in half, 50%. That's why this hierarchy is so critical. It shows us where we get the most bang for our buck.
And all of this leads to a really powerful final idea. It's about completely reframing what we even think waste is, and what our future could look like if we get this right.
This quote from the UN really just nails it.
The goal is to stop seeing stuff as rubbish and start seeing it as a resource. That's the whole idea behind what's called a circular economy. A system or materials don't just get used and thrown away, but are constantly looped back in, ready to be used again.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. If this massive, planet-changing waste problem was basically created in just the last few seconds of Earth's 24-hour day, if it's really a modern invention, then isn't it possible for us to design our way out of it? Can we effectively uninvent it?